So round 3 is over and another round of games comes to their conclusion. Another pretty decent round of games, I think. It's always a decent set of games when England and Wales face off. For me, in terms of fantasy, I'm relatively happy, apart from the fact that I'm now 3rd in my mini-leagues. But I guess that's the game, and luckily we've still got 2 more rounds to go. So starting off, I got 790 points this game week, which is actually my highest so far. But the problem is that everyone else got their highest points total as well. So let's go through my team and see which players stood out and which I was disappointed with. So in the front row, the stand-up performer was of course Ellis Genge with almost 40 points. And for a prop, this is so good. Pierre Showman was a little disappointing, but at the same time, I did back France to win up in Scotland. And the letdown of the week was probably Cowan Dickey, who came off so early in the game. I hyped him up in my selection video, saying he deserves a good game after being unlucky. But I must have jinxed him, because this injury stopped his game in its tracks. So very disappointing, because that was a waste of an England player. But we move on. I was pretty happy with my second row pairing, with Rowlands and Laws both scoring over 30. And as second rows go, that's a pretty decent return. The back row was solid, probably more mediocre. Faletau had a great game on his return to the Wales side, and remarkably he made it through all 80 minutes, which I really wasn't expecting. Aldrit had a great game once again. I think he's just so solid now that he'll be in my team for the rest of the tournament. And as for Jelonch, well, not great at all. I changed it last minute because you guys told me that Hamish Watson had COVID and he wasn't playing. I thought the French back row would dominate the Scottish, but that wasn't really the case. Rory Darge had a fantastic game with a try and so many turnovers won. So I just picked wrong in this case. My halfbacks were definitely the best pairing, with Dupont and Smith both scoring over 70 points. But even though I was happy with their performances and points, everyone else had them in their teams, so it was actually little benefit to my team. But I guess I must look on the bright side and take the positives when they come. Ringrose did well in the centres. I probably hoped for a try or two, but he was solid nonetheless. Chris Harris was another disappointing pick with only 13 points. I took Fiku out for him to try and fit in Jelonch, so those picks definitely hurt my overall points. And it's such a hard one to take because I literally had Fiku in, who was great. But at the same time I thought it would benefit me, bringing in Jelonch. But that's just the way fantasy goes sometimes. The back 3 were okay, I guess. I was definitely hoping for a lot more, especially from Mac Hansen. He didn't really seem to get into the game, and against 13 men, for most of it, I was so frustrated. James Lowe, on the other hand, did very well with 2 tries, but yet again he wasn't my captain, so it's bittersweet. And Jaminet was solid again. Stewart would probably have been the best pick here, but I did back Jaminet. Maybe I'll have to take a look at a few more risks and outside picks next round to try and get me back up in the leagues. And finally, as for my bench, quite disappointing again. I picked the wrong Scottish winger in Graham, who only scored me 10 points. Josh Adams was decent after scoring a try, but Cuthbert was probably the best pick there. And as for Hume, well, it didn't go well at all. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad score, but he came on inside the first 10 minutes for a blood replacement. And I thought, yes, nice and early, let's get some good points. But it didn't turn out that way. I actually removed Mike Lowry from my team to try and put in Hume because of the late Daly switch, so that was so frustrating for me. And it looked as though Sam Simmons was the best option this week for Super Sub, scoring a very decent 70 odd points. But we live and learn. Like I said, maybe next round I need to take some more differential picks, meaning picking players who other teams might not have. But there is always a risk with that. Maybe I'll make a video on the best outsider picks, seeing as though we don't have another round until 2 weeks. Let me know if you want to see by commenting down below. So that's the end of today's video. Please let me know how you guys did down in the comments, and I'll be back with another video later this week. Remember, let me know what video you want to see in the meantime. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.